Vocabulary, Lesson 27, from the story The Dog That Dug for Dinosaurs. Our first word is exact. The map showed the exact place to dig for old bones. Exact means something that is completely correct. So you want to be exact when you are doing a math problem so that you get the exact answer. Next word, discovered. This old shark's tooth was discovered on a beach. It was found by a scientist. So if you discovered something, you found out something that you did not know before. So maybe you found something that you didn't know existed, or you discovered an answer to a problem that you didn't know before. Next word, remove. This scientist uses a brush to gently remove or take away sand. So to remove something means to take something out or take it away. Remove. Next word, growled. The dog growled and barked as it dug up the old bone. So if your dog growled, it made a deep, low noise, maybe because it's angry or afraid or excited. Growled. Amazed. The girl was amazed at the size of the dinosaur teeth in the museum. Amazed means that you are very surprised. You can see by the expression on their faces that they are amazed. Look at the size of those teeth. Next word, explained. The man explained or told about the dinosaur. Explained means to describe or described in a simple way so that others could understand. So if you are trying to explain how you did a problem to a friend, you would have to take your time and describe it in a simple way so that your friend could understand. Next word, guard. A guard makes sure no one touches anything in the museum. You'll see the guard on the right side of the picture right there. He's dressed up in an official uniform so people know that he is there to carefully watch over or protect something, like the artwork, guard. So a guard can actually be a person who is a guard, and the guard will guard something valuable. So guard can have a couple different meanings. It can be the actual person or the action that they are doing. The last word, souvenirs. He bought souvenirs to remember his day at the museum. So souvenirs are things you buy or find to remind you of a place or event. Souvenirs. So this week's read aloud is called Epperson's Icicle. So you may not have heard of Epperson, but you will know what we're talking about when we get to the end. So please be looking for the vocabulary words as I read. Okay, and let's read them together. Use my pointer here. So we have exact, discovered, remove, growled, amazed, explained, guard, and souvenirs. It's right down at the end. So be listening for the words as I read. Epperson's Icicle. One winter night more than 100 years ago, an 11-year-old boy named Frank Epperson became an accidental inventor at his home in San Francisco, California. So an inventor is someone who comes up with new ideas. Accidental means that he came up with something by accident. Frank was using a stick to mix up a fruity drink by mixing flavored powder with water. Frank got distracted before he ever took a sip, and he left the drink on his back porch. That same night, the temperature dropped and a big freeze hit the city. It was unusual for it to get that cold in San Francisco. When Frank woke up for breakfast the next morning, his hungry stomach growled like a bear. See the word growled? Before he ate, Frank remembered his drink on the porch. Can you think of what might have happened overnight in that cold, cold air? He had left it without a guard to watch over it that night. Frank found the drink on his porch in the exact place he had left it. When Frank reached for it, he discovered it was not a liquid anymore. Frank's drink was frozen solid around the wooden stir stick he had left in the glass. So what did Frank make? That's right, it was a popsicle. Frank's drink was frozen solid around the wooden stir stick he had left in the glass. Frank didn't try to remove the stick, right? He didn't want to take the stick out. Instead, he held it like a handle and slid the icy block out of the glass and gave it a lick. He'd always wondered what the drink would taste like frozen, and now he knew it tasted great. Frank explained to his friends what had happened and made icy treats for them. He didn't try to keep the secret of how he'd made a frozen juice on a stick. After all, he'd made it by accident. His friends loved the treats, and he thought everybody else would too. When Frank was older, he decided to sell them. First, he called the frozen lollipop an Epperson Icicle. Later, he changed it to the Epsicle. Finally, when he was grown up with children of his own, he gave it the name we use today, which is what? Not an Epsicle, but a popsicle. It was 1905 when Frank left his drink on the porch and invented the frozen juice pop. Today, people in the United States eat hundreds of millions of them every year. There's no museum selling souvenirs or showing pictures of the first Epperson icicle, but it has become one of the favorite hot weather treats in our country. Frank was right that they'd be popular, and he'd probably be amazed at just how popular they are. And that is how a popsicle came to be. So let's think about what we just read and what we heard. So when and where did the events take place? Do you remember? Well, the story took place in San Francisco, California, which is a state all the way across the country, on the other side of the country from us. And this happened more than 100 years ago. So popsicles have been around for over 100 years. How did Frank Epperson become an inventor? So did he spend years and years and years trying to develop the popsicle? No, it was an accident, remember? He made a drink up with the fruit drink powder. They mixed it up in water, and he left it outside overnight with a wooden stick in it, the stick that he was using to mix it up. And what happened? The temperature dropped outside, it got freezing cold, and the liquid froze in the cup with the stick, and he popped it out, and that was your popsicle. So think about, that's a great example of cause and effect. When you put water with a stick outside in the freezing cold, what's going to happen? The cause would be leaving the drink outside, and the temperature dropping. The effect was that it froze in the cup and created a popsicle. What sequence of events took place after Epperson invented the Epperson icicle? So what did he do first? So first he made the frozen treats for his friends. Then he changed the name of his treats to Epsicles. And what happened after that? Right, the name got changed to Popsicle. And today, everybody knows what a popsicle is. We eat them all the time, usually in the summertime. I wonder if any of you are eating them in the winter, or maybe some now that the weather's getting a little bit nicer, we feel like a popsicle. I'm not a big fan of popsicles in the middle of the winter because they make me too cold. But not to say that we couldn't eat a popsicle in the winter. So that is how a popsicle came to be.